overhead squat. And from what I've seen already, it's going to look okay, but not great. What is it that makes these movements challenging? It's the neurological aspects. You have to learn these movements. When I talk learn, I'm in here. When I talk learn, I'm in here. These are derived from equal parts here, and here I'm also here. I have 6 of 10 components through this commitment, this charter that lives and breathes, revolves around rewards, recognizes, and measures power output with functional movements. It puts me in this domain. Now, you could develop in here, you could decide that, hey, I don't need power, speed, coordination, action, agility, and balance. We've heard that these movements are too complicated to teach people, to teach soldiers, to teach mothers, to teach children. That you really don't need to know. You don't really know how to jerk. When will I ever have to overhead squat? And that is a commitment to shying away from these pieces. I'm too big to be a gymnast. To get benefit from being on the rings. That is a commitment to abandoning this. Let me show you what impact that has. If I were to put the maximum expressible energy on this axis and put productive application of force here. What I'm talking about is how much heat, how much chemical, biochemical energy, how much heat do I put out into the system on this axis, and this one is how much work I'm accomplishing. What you'd see is that this is not a good place to be. Here we are, we're putting out, achieving very little and working very hard. You got that? It's like having a seizure. It's a poor way to get to the store, even though you might eventually wiggle your way over to the store. You'll find you put out a lot more energy than you would have walking. One is efficient, one is inefficient. What we'd like to be ideally is be able to get tons of work done with low energy output, right? This is admittedly a rather bad place to be, and this is a rather good place to be. What is the metric here along this arc? Well, I'll tell you what, it's quality of movement. It is technique. You want productive application of force, you better have a skill set, or you won't do it. You won't keep up with Nicole walking downstairs with drywall. Where's Chris Bloom? Right here. Chris, you could not, if I had you both, you're a big strapping young stud of a soldier. If I were to have you and Nicole going downstairs with sheetrock, I'd tell you we'd be more likely to get to the bottom without someone falling or dropping the load with her going down the stairs, not you. Why? Because he can't hold a load overhead and keep it in the frontal plane. It's falling forward. And he's in here with nothing. What's going to happen when I put 3 sheets of sheetrock on him? He's doing a header. Not Nicole. And if you doubt that, we could have a demo. Productive application of force is technique dependent. Technique dependent. I want you to learn how to clean and how to snatch and how to jerk, because that is essential to the maximum productive application of force, essential to it. There's 2 limitations to being able to express successful completion work. 2 limitations. One is going to be the biological one. Just, do you have enough cardiorespiratory endurance, stamina, strength? Are you adequately flexible? If the mechanics are off, you won't be able to do it. If you don't have the technique, you won't be able to do it. I can't throw away any piece of this. Now, seemingly, intensity and technique are at odds. And I want to make distinctions here just fleetingly. I want to look at technique, mechanics, form, and style. Mechanics is just the physics of the movement. When I'm talking angular velocity, moment, rigid midline, when I'm talking about the physics, I'm talking about the mechanics. When I'm talking about the method that will help me to successfully complete the motion, I'm on a sporting end here, and I'm kind of talking about technique. When I attach normative values to it, I talk about good mechanics, bad mechanics, good technique, poor technique. I'm talking about form. When I talk about the signature to the movement that really doesn't reflect any one of these, then I'd be talking about style. But they're all aspects of the quality of movement. And the point here is that the quality of the movement is tied intrinsically, inherently, in the successful productive application of force, getting the job done, high output, power, intensity, are technique dependent. Now, seemingly at odds, I know we find that when we ratchet up the intensity, pretty soon we start having problems with technique, mechanics, form, style, call it all technique. It will fall apart by necessity, but it doesn't mean they're at odds. There are a whole bunch of domains where speed is considered a primary value. Well, it has value. Driving, typing, shooting, and CrossFit, playing the violin. Speed is a necessary component to proficiency. So our SEALs will tell you they do a drill. It's a 9-inch disc, and they're 3 to 5 yards from it, and they're shooting. Ready, go. Bam, 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 bam. You walk through and look. Here's the disc. Here's the 9-inch disc. You got a guy. There's his pattern. He is, by definition, shooting too slow. I don't care how fast he was. He could be fastest one there. He could go faster. I got a guy that's here. Too fast. I don't care how slow he was going. He could be slowest. He's going too fast. He needs to slow down and bring it in. We get him at 80-20. Got about 8 in here, 20 out here. Good job. Regardless of how fast he went. Isn't that interesting? You go out for a job as executive secretary to someone and you type 300 words a minute, set all the record, right? With 4,000 mistakes. What is your worth? You should IM with Nicole. There is no mistakes, but you watch each letter painfully go down because she's looking for it. She's going to get the right one. Perfect accuracy in her typing and low speed. There's some middle ground that is consistent with what we're looking for, whether you're putting out fires, playing the violin, or doing CrossFit. You with me on this? Crashing the car, missing the target, hitting a wrong note, and faltering some on form does not cause you to increase your intensity or speed. It's an ineluctable, unavoidable consequence of its development. You introduce me to someone who never makes mistakes and they're not developing proficiency, they're not getting fast. You got that? So, do I want high intensity or I want good times? Yes is the answer. Yes is the answer. Just like if we were going to meet at lunch today, I go, sir, here's the deal. Do you want me to come on time or to the right place? Well, yes. I want you to the right place and on time. One without the other is worthless. Same here. This is nothing I've decided. This isn't at the core of our program. This is at the core of the real world. This is how the universe works, folks. When you've settled on intensity defined as productive application of force, completion of, this is our goal, intensity. What you're going to see is at the heart of that is technique. Suppose a guy were to pull off this miraculous 151 Fran. Okay? Full range of motion, chin over the bar, full extension, all the way down on the squat, load overhead. But there's a lot of errant movement. I mean, just a bunch of bullshit. No 2 reps look the same would be strong evidence of some errant movement. Bar path all over the room, failed reps that have to be repeated, but still gets a 150. What do we know? Could go faster. Yes. At the same output biologically, with better technique, with some neurological control, I'd get a better time, for sure. Isn't that amazing? Look where we've gone. We've gone from prescription, from RX to power, From power to fitness. And now fitness entirely dependent on technique. That says technique.